I'm holding the camera towards the window, but you really can't tell what's out there. It's too dark. Good morning, and welcome to Thursday. We woke up at 5:20 a.m., and currently it's like 5:40 a.m., so we're going to be heading out here in just a second. Mal's finishing up brushing her teeth, and then we're going to be heading off. The way they already took our check bag last night at 10 o'clock, so it's just our carry-ons. My carry-on is just the camera bag, so it's pretty easy for me. We're going to go downstairs, grab a quick, small breakfast. Normally the hotel starts breakfast at 6:30, but because we have to leave so early for the airport, because we're going to Beijing today, the tour group has a special deal with the airport where they're going to do a limited breakfast half an hour earlier. So we'll have some breakfast at 6. Then we get on the bus and go to Beijing. Well, I mean, we go on the bus to go to the airport to go to Beijing, but it's probably obvious.
This side is the Drum Tower, D-R-U-M, Drum Tower.
So after a short trip through Beijing via Pedicab, we briefly stopped in to a local's house where we got to ask a few questions. That was interesting. And then we did a short little walk over to the Drum Tower and the Bell Tower. And our guide was explaining that before electricity and more importantly clocks, they used these two towers to tell time, because in the daytime everyone could just look up at the sun and be like, oh, that's what time it is, but at night they didn't know. So every 2 hours starting at like either 7 or 9 p.m., the Bell Tower on one side and the Drum Tower on the other would play the bell and the drum respectively at the same time. One of the interesting things is how they figured out to always do it in 2 hour intervals, because they would start at 7 or 9 and then they would keep going in 2 hour intervals until the morning. They devised a method using incense where they tied string in a little metal ball and then they'd burn the incense, which took 2 hours, and the string would burn, and then the little ball would fall onto this metal plate and it would make a noise, and then they'd know to start beating the drums. And you have to climb like 60 steps to get up into the drum tower, and it's a pretty steep climb, but they got all the drums up there, including one from very, very long ago that's been torn open whenever the Allies invaded Beijing in like early 1900s. But the view up there is really cool. You get to see a pretty good view of the city. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind today, but we are now at our hotel in Beijing. And this is also the last hotel we'll be staying at on the trip because Beijing is the last leg of the trip. Today was a little crazy though because we had to get up so early to leave Xi'an, and we got to see and do a few cool things, but I think not as much information today, more of a sightseeing type thing. Still a good time. Now that we're here, we're just going to take a little rest. At some point, we're going to go out and get some dinner. I'll show you the room while I'm thinking about it. This hotel room is definitely a little bit smaller and not quite as nice as some of the past ones, but it's still very nice. Front door, bathroom. Come in and we got the 2 beds, and this one's very modern looking with the furniture and everything. But I wanted to quickly update about my vision because I don't think I talked about it the other day. My vision is better. Yesterday, by the end of the day, I could see, almost completely in front of me again. And then I woke up this morning and my vision was back. What was so interesting is that while that was all going on, my eyes were sore too. And finally, that's all fixed. So yeah, it's going to be a cold day in hell before I use those motion sickness patches again, but at least I've learned my lesson.
I'm really sorry for all my pronunciation, but we are at a place that has Cantonese dim sum, and we just ordered stuff we don't actually know.
I didn't find that necessary, just FYI. I popped that thing in my mouth and it was great. It's good.
Oh yeah? I don't know what it is yet.
What actually sure.
I don't remember what we ordered.
That might be the pork and shrimp.
We ordered chocolate because it was on the menu, and why not? So these showed up, and they took all of our plates away and gave us clean chopsticks. So this is chocolate.
Oh no, you have to put the whole thing in your mouth.
Get it.
Wow. Is it hot?
I didn't touch any of that part to my mouth.
It is hot.
Oh yeah, it's very hot. It's like molten.
Oh.
No. It's not that hot.
So you put the whole thing in your mouth? You're okay with it?
It's delicious.
Wow.
Isn't that good?
So that dim sum, by the way, was in a huge shopping mall. And when I say huge, I mean the outside was misleading because it was actually 6 floors. And I think the craziest thing about it was whenever we left, I realized that across the street was another shopping mall. Holy crap. Our tour guide had told us that the hotel that we were staying in wasn't quite as nice as the others that we had stayed in on the trip, but that it was a good location. That's all he said.
Yeah.
It was a good location. Yeah. You don't say. We're a block away from this stuff. This is an amazing location. It's also wild that there's all of this stuff in Beijing. There's an incredible amount of shopping and dining, just right here where we are. And Beijing is huge. So I don't even know how to, fathom the size of this city. Beijing, this is some stuff I heard from earlier in the day, but I thought I would share it. 3 times the size as Shanghai. It's not. It doesn't have as many people as Shanghai, but it's 3 times the area, and it's also really old. It's been the capital city for 800 years, but it's been a city for 3,000.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's 10 times older-ish than our country.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, China is old.
Yeah.
And that, but then you start to think about that aspect of it, and you're like, wow, that's just it's real old, really old. Anyway, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Due to
A rehearsal for a parade?
Well, it's because there's a holiday.
It's an anniversary of...
Every 10 years, apparently, is a very extravagant military parade in Beijing to celebrate the 1949
forming of the
modern day China government. And so this is 70 years on, and they're getting ready to do this big celebration. And it turns out that the rehearsal starts on like Saturday, which is when we're supposed to like be going and doing a lot of stuff in Tiananmen Square, and which is where they're
Forbidden Palace.
And this is where all of this is going down. So that was part of our itinerary, but we're actually now getting that switched with tomorrow. So we're doing a lot of stuff tomorrow that we were going to do on Saturday, just because it's the only chance we'll have to do it, because the government's going to be blocking off a huge stretch of road that we would need to access in order to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So we're still getting a chance to do it. We're just doing it early. So tomorrow, I think, is going to be a very busy day.
Yep.
And we're going to be
Very
seeing like all sorts of cool stuff. I'm excited. That's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?